Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Crystal. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Good afternoon. Yeah, I've been home most of the day. I took Max out this morning. I've been out to the co-op, and yeah, I'm just feeling a bit tired and out of it. To be fair, to be honest. So I'm just like relaxing indoors. I've gone through a few stressful days and I just want to like get my stress levels down, so I'm just relaxing at home. Alexa, Alexa.
Sorry, something went wrong.
Sorry, I've just rebooted her. Rebooted. Right, I should tell you what the time is myself. It's 12 minutes past 2. So it's 12 minutes past 2 in the afternoon, and it's Wednesday. About half an hour ago my buzzer rang, and every delivery guy, I didn't say a word, I just let him in. I didn't even speak, and I just pressed the buzzer and let him in because I was expecting something from Every today anyway. He had a yellow fluorescent waistcoat on. I mean, they're very popular, aren't they, these yellow fluorescent waistcoats? They must keep people cool. I used to wear a waistcoat. I don't bother wearing a waistcoat anymore. No, I don't bother. So, the Every delivery guy rang my buzzer. Now, these parcels don't say Jennifer. They say Genestra, which is spelt completely different to Jennifer. See that there? Jenestrar. Some people used to call me Genestra. Genestra, which sounds posh, doesn't it? Genestra. That's my birth name. So we're going to open this. It is my So Dark Romance body spray. Cost me about 90p. 90 pence. Body spray. It's one of my favourites at the moment. So Dark Romance. And this is another package for Genestra. And you know, this is Aquafresh Triple Protection toothpaste. Fresh and minty. Just open it up. Get rid of the box. There we go. Aquafresh 3-in-1 protection toothpaste. Some toothpaste and a body spray. Now, what I'm going through is I'm being intimidated and sometimes I feel wary. And I went downstairs to get my packages, and there was a man downstairs near the lift with a giant black bag. My mum used to have a fold-over black bag and it was grey on top. And this man had almost exactly the same bag as my mum did when she lived at Victoria Road with Dad and I. And I waited until he got into the lift and where he wanted to go. And then I went out of the door and picked up my Every packages. And that's how someone feels when they're being stalked and harassed. That, you know, you're just wary of who anybody is. Anybody. So I am. Now, when we go back to the other day when I was accused of taking a photograph of a neighbour, which I wasn't actually, that was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was just after 3 o'clock. And I was walking my dog because it happened to be a very hot day. And between 12 and 3, the sun is at its highest. So I thought if I go out after 3 o'clock, you know, it's cooler for me and it's cooler for Max. And then my neighbour came home around 3, just as I was leaving my flat. And that's, you know, about 20 minutes later when I was walking around to come home, there she was coming towards me. And there was a bit of a confrontation. And I don't want that to happen again, so I'm just keeping myself to myself. I'm not doing anything to anybody. I'm indoors. If I take Max out for a walk, I make sure I steer clear of anyone. That's the way it is. But on a happier note, I got 2 scratch cards this morning that cost me £3 each. And I've won £20 on one of these scratch cards, so I've won 20 quid. I actually couldn't believe it. I had to do a double take, if you know what I mean. Because I've lost so many times. I've spent about 15 quid on £5 scratch cards and I've not won a thing. So the number 32... and the number 32 has brought me luck. 32. £20. So that's brilliant. A bit of luck at last after having so much bad luck and so much misery. A bit of bad luck. Alexa, LBC Radio.
LBC London from Global Player.
Car.
You look happy, George.
I am very happy. George wasn't sure about going electric. He was worried about running out of power on the motorway. But now he has Admiral car insurance, which can come with out-of-charge EV recovery should the worst.
See what you did there?
Back at full power. Get quality car insurance from Admiral that can also cover your EV. Admiral Insurance, always looking out for you. T's and C's apply. Check admiral.com for details.
There are loads of good wines at Waitrose, and the bank holiday is the perfect time to enjoy them. A bottle of bubbles at a barbecue, a chilled rosé with a picnic, and a crisp white out in the rain. Get 25% off 6 or more bottles of wine or fizz over £6 at Waitrose. Like the fruity La Vieille Fermé Rosé, a refreshing Villa Maria Sauvignon Blanc, or even a celebratory Veuve Clicquot. Selected stores and lines subject to availability. Excludes Scotland, box wines and bottles priced £100 and over.
Leading Britain's conversation. Sheila Fogarty. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
There you go. That was quick. Cheryl has called from Hackney. Hello, Cheryl.
Hi, how are you?
Hi there. Yes, you're a former nurse.
That's correct. I qualified as a nurse in the 90s. I wasn't there for very long based on the fact that I saw a lot of systemic racism around me, including things that disrupted my heart, and I went to complaint to management and was shut down. So one of the things that I saw in the days when you had the clipboards, now everything's on the devices, so therefore families can't see, was a lot of do not resuscitate codes that families, specifically from the Black and South Asian communities, were placed on their notes that families had no clue to. Doctors would play God. They would assess whether this patient in their minds were productive to society, if they were on benefits, if they had a series of health concerns and issues and so forth. So those things were new to me. So when I spoke with members of my family who were in the medical field, doctors and nurses, and basically I was told that this is the reality of how doctors decide who lives and who dies, and families did not have any clue. So in trying to speak up for patients and advocate, I was hitting the brick wall and basically told to shut up and keep quiet and get on with your job. If you want to continue in this profession, if you want to get promoted. So I'm newly qualified. So I'm this new, young, energetic nurse.
Horrified that families were being left out of these decisions.
Exactly, and had no clue. So with that knowledge, I basically told family and friends, if you have family members who are sick in hospital, take it in turns, rotation, shift work to sleep in that hospital room to see what's going on. Because when the crash team has decided upon the doctors. So I literally I was at King's College, trained at King's College, left King's College, and I went into teaching. I basically swapped one form of racism for another, and I left. Taught in different parts of the world and settled in Canada. Again, a lot more racism there within the education level, very similar to what we're experiencing here. So we talk about training, which is definitely needed, but there's only so much training can do to those who are resistant to understanding their own racism and bias. We need to go higher up in policies. We've got Wes Streeting now. What we would call, say in Canada, is from a protected group. So hopefully he can use his own identity to sort of understand and to connect with Black and South Asian, in the medical field to look at policy. It starts from the top down. We cannot just look at training and DEI because that goes in one ear and out the other.
It's actually leadership, isn't it? It's about good, clear leadership,
Right.
and knowing that however junior you are, the leader will listen and the leader will act.
Exactly, but again, we have to hold these leaders accountable. You're right in what I'm saying, in what you're saying with down to leadership, but who holds those leadership people accountable? So therefore, it needs to come from the top down. Policies need to change in order to hold the leadership and those in charge and executives accountable,
Yes.
or else we're going to be facing the same system, which is embedded. Racism is embedded in every single system around us, in every form of employment, and until policies above are strategically looked at and aligned with people of today and their backgrounds, we will continue this because this is over 20 odd years ago, nearly 30 years ago I left the profession, and I'm hearing the same thing today. So if something's not working, we need to change. We need to change how we view racism and how we act upon racism, or else this is going to continue continually. And now for the mere fact we don't have those the clipboards at the end of the bed. It's all digital devices. Patients have no clue what the decisions made upon their lives.
Well, that's why communication is so important, isn't it? And having advocates, even if it's if it's your family or somebody else, is really important. And this boils down, Cheryl, doesn't it, to NHS workers being protected from harm the same way any worker should be protected from harm.
Exactly, and that's not happening.
No.
It's not. It's like a total shut. Basically, the system is working as designed. The system is working as designed. If we want to change the system, we have to break it down from top to bottom, and gain with leadership that has a broad view on different perspectives, on different lifestyles, on different lives. And until that changes, we will forever face them.
And how frequently? Obviously, you don't need to be accurate here, totally accurate, because you probably won't remember. But how common was it for you to receive racist comments from patients, let alone attitudes of
it's very common. Misogynistic comments, misogynistic comments, sexual comments, and they would use the excuse because, as a man thinketh, so he is. So, we can't be using the whole, I was high on the medication that you gave me and so forth. It was very frequent, slaps on the behind as you're going past, and then you go to report it, and it's like, oh, he's old, he doesn't know what he's doing, he's got dementia or so forth. But it's embedded within that person that is manifesting.
I think dementia is slightly, I would argue that dementia is slightly different, that often you can't necessarily hold somebody responsible. I saw actually quite a youngish woman with severe dementia on a ward my mother was on, and she was she actually slapped a Filipino nurse who was a brilliant nurse on the ward, and the nurse handled it superbly, but she was still slapped on the face,
Yeah.
twice.
We have to because it was dementia. but it's what they're thinking. So, you know, it's something that needs to be approached. We need to be, well, I'm no longer in the profession. As I said, I fought one racism for another in Canada. But it's something that needs to be looked at. And unions aren't helpful either, because again, it depends on the leadership and how they think and how they, you know, and how they support, you know, members that come to them. It's a system, it's a systemic cycle that will not change unless we have someone from the top, West Streeting, hello, I hope you're well, you know, that can actually start helping and looking out. This is going to go on for another 30 years. This happened to me in the 90s when I just qualified, and it's still happening today.
And it happened to you in teaching as well, you said?
Yeah, teaching here, I left teaching. So the things I'm running away from one racism for another. Teaching and education, I was qualified here as a teacher, went to live in different parts of the world and ended up in Canada. Canada is the same, it mirrors the same thing. I'm over here because obviously I'm from the UK, I have family over here. And what I'm hearing here from my sister-in-law, who is also a teacher, is the same thing back in Canada. Children, black students are disproportionately expelled, they're suspended, police are called upon them. If you look into an article that went worldwide, a 6-year-old child, with anxiety, black child, was handcuffed, both her wrists and her feet, and placed on her stomach for 28 minutes by Peel police.
6-year-old?
All because she was 6-year-old. You can Google that. 6-year-old child was handcuffed. Her hands handcuffed, her ankles handcuffed. She was placed on her stomach for 28 minutes. You can Google racism in Peel Police. The Ontario Human Rights are involved there. It's systemic. It's systemic. You can Google it. She was 6 years. She's about 10, 11 now. But the trauma that she went through is life-changing.
Well, listen, thank you very much, Cheryl, and for your reflections on nursing here in the UK as well all those years ago. Thank you.
Right, guys, that was LBC Radio talking about that. So I am going to get on with the rest of my day. I hope everybody has a great day. When my mum gave me some money yesterday, she gave me 5 £2 coins for the taxi, to pay the taxi driver, but I used the notes, I didn't use coins. But everything my mum does, I know why she's doing it. I know why she gave me £2 coins, what I went through in Gloucestershire. I know everything that she does is done for a reason. So she gave me some notes, and she gave me £10 or £12 all in £2 coins. And I still have not got another note or a coin with King Charles's head on. I had to use that £5 note, the only one I had with his head on. I haven't got any more. Anyway, I'm going to go now, and I'll see you later.